Months have passed since New York City Board of Health enacted a law requiring parental consent for a particular form of circumcision. So far, so good. That is, unless you're a Hasidic Jew. You see, Hasidic Jews want the freedom to snip off the end of an infant's penis and suck the blood out with their mouths. This particular procedure is called the Mezitza Bepi, or abbreviated as MBP. The New York Board of Health has determined that the practice of MBP is unhealthy for a variety of reasons, including the spread of viral disease. The Board of Health's #1 priority is to protect the public. It feels that it's in the public interest that parents be made aware of the risks involving MBP prior to having the procedure performed on their infant. Studies have found several infant deaths linked to the herpes simplex virus and other infectious diseases that were transmitted via oral MBP. Not surprisingly, several Jewish groups are suing the city, claiming that the consent form infringes on their practice of their religion. These groups are also questioning the validity of studies linking various diseases to their bloody penis-sucking procedure. The City of New York defends the use of the consent form as it does not ban the odd practice outright, but merely requires an informed consent. The city must take into consideration the religious freedoms that some hold, while at the same time protecting the health of the public. The consent form clearly describes the increased risk of infection to the parents who can decide for themselves what best fits their belief system. The Vatican has released images of ancient frescoes that show a woman with outstretched arms like those of a priest. Found deep within the catacombs of Via Salaria, the frescoes were cleaned and restored using laser technology. One of them shows a woman wearing vestment reminiscent of those worn by priests. Another, known as the Greek chapel, shows a woman with outstretched arms apparently celebrating Mass. Proponents of female priests, like the Women's Ordination Conference, point to these images as proof that women were priests in the early days of the Church. The Vatican officially thinks otherwise. "It's a fairy tale, a legend, sensationalist and absolutely not reliable," said Fabrizio Bisconti, supervisor of archaeological sites owned by the Vatican. He also says that the frescoes represent women in prayer and that they are not celebrating Mass. Regardless of what the images on the fresco reveal, the Church will continue to hold the position that women cannot become priests because Jesus chose only men as apostles. The catacombs have been sealed for centuries, but are now available for the public to view thanks to Google Street View. It's been over 100 years since the Balangiga massacre in the Philippines that killed thousands. This horrible event was carried out by U.S. soldiers in retaliation for the ambush that led to the death of 48 soldiers during the Philippine-American War of 1901. What was then America's largest defeat since the Little Bighorn, the 48 soldiers killed set off a large and mostly illegal American response. Orders by American General Jacob H. Smith were stark. Soldiers had orders to kill every male below the age of 10 and to burn all. He is quoted as having said, "I want no prisoners. I wish you to kill and burn. The more you kill and burn, the better it will please me. The interior of Samar must be made into a howling wilderness." Amid the death and destructions, the town's church belfry was looted of its 3 bells as war booty by the Americans. One of the bells is in a war museum in South Korea. The other 2 reside at Fort D.A. Russell in Wyoming. A sign over one of the bells at Fort Russell's reads, "This bell hung in the church in Balangiga, Samar, Philippine Islands, and rung the signal for the attack on Company C, 9th U.S. Infantry, September 29, 1901. Taken by Company L, 11th Infantry, and a detachment of Company K, 11th Infantry, the first units to reach the scene after the massacre. Nowadays, the U.S. and Philippines are close allies, but animosity remains in the minds of many. The recent typhoon that destroyed most of the religion left the old church standing along with its long empty belfry. As American aid pours in the devastated region, the church is asking for its bells to be returned. Residents are grateful for U.S. packets of rice and other food, but we want our bells back, a top aide to the mayor said. As of 2013, the bells remain under the control of the U.S. government, with no plans to return them to the Philippines. Divorced Roman Catholics in Germany might get a second chance at receiving communion if Bishop Gebhard I has his way. The Vatican ruled long ago that divorced followers who remarry in civil ceremonies are banned from taking communion. This policy has had a negative influence on church membership numbers as it places undue guilt and a sense of rejection on those involved. The steady decline of divorced and formerly contributing church members is a concern for many church officials who have seen an equally steady decline in revenue. Bishop First says that this is the first and most popular complaint he receives. The bishop does not plan a mass pardon for those breaking the divorce rules, but he would propose ways for the faithful to regain full admission to the church. While the Roman Catholic Church membership is in steady decline, officials see the need to keep all members they have. Pope Francis recently said that the doors of sacrament should not be closed simply for any reason, and that the Eucharist was not a prize for the perfect, but a powerful medicine for the nourishment of the weak. However, there remains a divide between old and entrenched ideologies that push against a modern world full of modern problems. One of the Pope's top advisors, Cardinal Reinhard Marx, counters the proposed policy and vowed to continue the debate on a broad scale. The Roman Catholic Church is slowly evolving and adapting its rules to the realities its members' life experience. As they muddle through the dark ages of thought, the infidel will keep you updated when there is any light.